For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At
The time is 10 a.m.
Thank you for tuning in to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Savannah, and I'm here with Madison.
Hey.
We invite you to listen to our broadcast both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU subcarrier airwaves at 67 kHz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. 3 p.m., 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.
There you go.
Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. And here's Madison with the weather.
Thank you, Savannah. Sorry, frog in my throat. All right. Ozarks first. The article starts with hot weather to storms Thursday. Heavy rainfall possible this weekend. And this is by Jamie Warner. Did I say it right? Mm-hmm. Okay. The early summer swelter will continue for one more day before going out with a bang Thursday evening. For tonight, we'll enjoy another warm and quiet evening. Severe storms near I-70 might build just far enough south to clip areas from, what's this one? Versailles to Rolla. But they should be weaker by then if they do. The timing would be near or after midnight for this to happen. The article continues with a two-panel picture of most accurate forecast showing the weather for tonight and tomorrow, with tonight being mostly in the upper 70s and tomorrow mostly being in the upper 90s and 80s. With tonight, south and south winds of 5 to 15 miles per hour, and tomorrow, southwest winds from 10 to 20 miles per hour, and they'll be gusty too. Just like what the picture panel said, Thursday we'll start with balmy breezes and quiet weather. Most of the day will be nice for outdoor activities like boating or spending time at the pool. Temperatures will climb quickly, and afternoon readings will once again top out to the near 90 degrees. I can't see this one. I mean, I can, but what is it representing?
There are two panels talking about the storms returning from the past weeks, as described above, and it moving from the southwest corner to the northeast corner, and the two panels showing that movement from start to finish, what it will look like at its peak, with the main part of the storms hitting in the upper northeast corner, while the rest of Missouri does still get the rainfall, and then it moving forward.
Additionally, there's another picture next to the other two showing storm hazards, with tornadoes being a low chance, flooding being a low chance, large hail being a low chance, and high wind almost in the moderate section. Continuing, a cold front will push into this wall of warmth by late afternoon, sparking scattered strong to severe storms along the front. Initial? Mm-hmm. The initial storms will develop quickly and likely pose the highest chance for severe weather. Damaging wind gusts and isolated hail are possible in the strongest storms. The tornado risk is low and will tend to be focused with... dang it.
It's okay. Just point to it.
Initial. The tornado risk is low and will tend to be focused with initial... Did I get it right that time? Mm-hmm. Initial storms that develop closer to central Missouri. Hang on, how would I explain this one? Tomorrow night and Friday, or was this one tonight and Friday?
So that's tonight, and that's tomorrow afternoon.
Okay.
That's tomorrow night, and that's Friday.
So tomorrow night, we're gonna get temperatures of upper 60s, and Friday, we're gonna get temperatures of upper 80s. As the cold front and storms press southeast, the storms will tend to weaken but will still produce gusty winds and lightning. The rain will exit the area before Friday morning, and Friday is shaping up to be pretty nice with lots of sun and a little less heat and humidity. There's another picture panel, picture panel something. Another, what I call it, a diagram? Another diagram of most accurate forecast, and it says stormy Saturday, on and off storms all day. And where is this part located?
The northwest.
The northwest of Missouri is in, dang it, how do I explain this?
In the area where severe storms are most likely, it is in the upper northwest and top of Missouri.
With a 15% chance of rain, as it's in the yellow section. Storms will make a quick return by Saturday morning. The activity looks scattered and will produce pockets of heavy rain and lightning. The question will just be how long the morning rain persists. The setup may favor scattered showers and thunderstorms all day into the evening hours. This would likely cut into severe weather chances. If there is more of a break between the morning and afternoon, temperatures will climb and severe weather will be more likely with storms later in the day. There's another most accurate forecast picture with the west side. With the west side of Missouri with on and off storms all day, as it's in the green section, and it says heavy rain and flooding possible. Either way, heavy rain could be an issue. We'll have to watch for a developing risk of flooding as rounds of storms produce heavy rainfall amounts. Continuing, there's another picture of the weekend forecast. Saturday shows showers and storms with southwest winds ranging from 5 to 15 miles per hour, with the highest degrees being 81 and in the low 66. Or temperatures in the low 60s?
That is mid-60s.
Huh?
So the temperatures would be mid-60s, as that is 66 is above the lower end. It's okay, no big deal.
So, hold on.
So on Saturday, it's going to be a high of 81 with a low of 66. And Sunday, it'll be a high of 78 with a low of 66. Saturday has storms and showers, where Sunday has a chance of showers. And that's the graphic.
Okay, with winds both being at 5 to 15 miles per hour. However, Saturday will get southwest winds, and Sunday will get northeast winds. But just like Savannah mentioned, it's going to be in the lower 60s.
It's going to be in the mid-60s.
The mid-60s.
It's okay. How about you move on?
Saturday's storms will be followed by a cold front that will tend to push rain chances off to the south on Sunday. Temperatures look milder on Sunday with highs only in the 70s. Dang it.
It's a...
I'm sorry.
What's...
So where would that be located?
So the article is broken up again in a diagram that shows the United States, and it has the words cool June air and dip in the jet stream moving through the Midwest section, with showers marked in 3 different locations through Texas, Georgia, and Washington.
It looks like an unusual mild spell of June weather will continue through Monday and Tuesday. However, overnight temperatures are expected to dip into the 50s with highs into the 70s. We can't rule out some shower activity on either day, but most of the period looks dry. Hotter weather returns by the middle of next week. And that's it for that article.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, pending re-election, Springfield State Representative Bill Owen selected as next House Budget Chair. Pending re-election, Owen will take the helm of the Budget Committee as the state general revenue surplus runs dry. Article written by Jack McGee. The article starts with a photo of a Representative Bill Owen, speaking at a groundbreaking ceremony marking the start of construction on Interstate 44 corridor. A photo by Jen Wilson. State Representative Bill Owen, who represents northern and western Greene County in the Missouri House, has been selected to serve as the lower chamber's next budget chair, assuming he is re-elected to a fourth consecutive and fifth overall term in the November general election. Speaker-elect Alex Riley, who also represents part of Greene County, announced Owen as budget chair in a press release on Wednesday, June 10th. Bill Owens brings a unique combination of real-world financial experience and legislative leadership to the Budget Committee, Riley says in the release. His decades in banking and his commitment to responsible stewardship of taxpayer dollars makes him exceptionally qualified to lead our House budget process and fulfill our constitutional duty to deliver a balanced budget. A Springfield native, Owen has spent 39 years in the banking industry, equipped with degrees from Drury University and the Graduate School of Banking at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Having previously served the Missouri House from 1981 to 1982, Owen, a Republican, was elected to his second two-year term in 2020. He is currently running his fifth and final term representing House District 131, facing Democrat Ashley Cossins in the November election. While state representatives are otherwise limited to serving 4 terms or 8 years, Owen is able to run for a 5th term because he first served prior to the enactment of term limits. Riley, who currently serves as Majority Floor Leader but was elected Speaker designee by his Republican colleagues last year, is also up for re-election in House District, facing Democrat Kelsey Grant on the November ballot. The current budget chair, Representative Dirk Deaton, is term limited and will not be returning to the General Assembly in 2027. Owen currently serves as a member of the House Budget Committee and 2 appropriations subcommittees. He is also the chairman of the Financial Institutions Committee. As budget chair, one of the most influential positions in the state legislature, Owen will oversee the development of the House budget based on the governor's recommendations, which is then handed over to the Senate before both chambers meet in conference committee to resolve differences. Pending re-election, Owen will take the helm of the Budget Committee as the state's general revenue surplus, which has been heavily relied upon in recent years to balance the budget, runs dry, making budget cuts likely. Missourians expect their government to live within its means and focus on its most important responsibilities, Owen said in the release. I am honored by the opportunity to lead the House Budget Committee and look forward to working with my colleagues to craft a budget that reflects our conservative principles, protects taxpayers, and positions Missouri for continued success. That is the end of that article.
Next article is from Springfield Daily Citizen. How did Matthew Good, the banker, become Mr. Wicked, owner of the Wicked Superstore? Social media indicates he worked there for, social media indicate he worked 13 years for State Farm and then 3 years as a banker. Soon after, his career path took a new trajectory.
Trajectory?
Thank you. This is by Steve Pokin. I mean, I know the word.
It's okay.
The article starts with an image of the Wicked Superstore, and it's got a picture of, would that be Matthew Good on the side of the building?
Not confirmed. So we say a picture of a man wearing a baseball-style jersey with the words Wicked on it. in black and gold.
425 East Kearney Street, which was raided on June 2nd. And this photo was taken by Ellie Frystack. How did a guy who seemingly worked for Springfield State Farm agent Bob Burke for 13 years and then as a banker for 3 years morph into Mr. Wicked? Matthew Aaron Good, currently 47 years old, of Springfield. Would that be it? 47, that would be his...
Matthew Aaron Good, 47 years old.
Okay, sorry. 47 years old, of Springfield. Created the Wicked Superstore on Kearney Streets in March of 2023. In social media, he's known as Mr. Wicked, a man who leads the wicked life. It's hard for me to discover the reasons behind Good's dramatic change in career path without his help, but he's not talking to me. But what I can do here is to tell you what's available through public records and Good's own Facebook page. His June 2019 promotion as Central Bank of the Ozarks was featured in the Springfield News-Leader. Matt Good to Business Development Officer in the Business Banking Department. Good has over 15 years of experience in the financial service industry and is responsible for building and strengthening new and existing business banking relationships. Fast forward to this month, his smoke shop, Wicked Superstore, was raided the morning of June 2nd by agents of the
Bureau of Alcohol,
Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Other law enforcement agencies assisted. Most of the store's inventory was seized, according to former employees. The reason for the raid has not been publicly disclosed, and it does not appear charges have been filed either. Last week, the Springfield Daily Citizen interviewed former employees who said they were not paid for their final week of work and were told the store was closed indefinitely. They also said they were unaware of any illegal activity. Wicked's Wicked's Superstore is a smoke shop. It advertises itself as Springfield's only 24-hour superstore and the home of the 4.20 at $4.20 flavor of the day. Area's largest selection of nicotine and THCA vapes, legal shrooms, and glass and water pipes, wraps, incense, torches and lighters,
butane,
novelties, accessories, and more. Most of the story's social media messages ends with the same tagline I received when I was at the store in April working on a different story, Stay Wicked. The article continues with, is that the Wicked Mobile? And it's a picture of a vehicle with the Wicked Superstore logo parked outside of a home owned by Matthew Good. It's a blue, I don't know what kind of car that is.
convertible.
It's a blue convertible, and it has the logo Wicked Superstore, and on the bottom it shows, on the hood, it shows a logo, a pattern, not a pattern, the LGBTQ.
It shows the Wicked Superstore logo on the hood, and behind the logo is the progressive LGBTQ flag.
Yes. Good owns a home in a nice subdivision just outside the city limits of Southwest. This photo was taken by Steve Polkin, by the way, if anybody was wondering. Anyway, Good owns a home in a nice subdivision just outside the city limits of Southwest Springfield, and I stopped by on June 9th and left my card with someone there. The home was easy to spot, with a car with various Wicked albums. The Wicked mobile was parked out front. Actually, I once spoke to Good without realizing he was the owner. It was the day after the raid. He and other employees were at the store, which was closed to the public. He had no comment. He declined to identify himself. Good's own Facebook page over the years reflects a change in tone and language as startling as his career change. Here's what he posted on January 20th of 2018 when he left State Farm to work for Central Bank, formerly Empire Bank. After great thought and consideration, I have decided to accept a new career path. I have worked for Bob Burke at State Farm for 13 years. Over that time, I've had wonderful relationships with Bob, my coworkers, and my clients. This was a tough decision because I truly loved my job. However, with change comes growth and new friendships and new opportunities. I'm very excited about starting this new chapter of my life. Thank you to everyone who has been there over the years. I will be at SF for the next 4 weeks to wrap things up and say my goodbyes. 8 years later, on December 15th of 2025, he posted 2 photos with an entirely different tone. One photo was from the Wicked Superstore, and one was from when he was a banker. The heading was "From Banker to Unbankable." The next article shows swears, but I'm gonna bleep them out.
So, the way that the article has written the next quote has the swears censored.
Yes.
So Madison is going to read them as written. She's
Okay.
not censoring them for the viewership.
But I'm not gonna say them out loud is what I mean. He wrote, "When you get to tell your favorite banker, CEO, to suck your blank, type blank." On October 30th, 2025, he posted a video of people dancing in the Wicked Superstore and wrote, "This is too much fun to be a job." On November 18th of 2025, there was a post under the heading "Wicked Life" that said, "Just enjoying life. Mr. Wicked is always on top of the world." He then posted a meme on March 20th of 2025 that read, "I can't tell if I'm going off the blank rails or living my best life. It's such a fine blank line." I don't know how much of Good's online persona is for marketing purposes, but I do know when you make an obscene post about your, quote, favorite banker CEO, you risk burning bridges. Now there's a photo of, so that's the same guy, right?
It says a photo of Matthew Good, yes.
In the front door of Wicked Superstore, and this photo was taken by Ellie Frystack. For everyone's sake, I'm not gonna say what the picture is, as it has a.
So what the picture is the upper corner of the Wicked Superstore door. It has Matthew Good at an angle, wearing glasses, wearing a white hoodie, and dollar bills floating around in the background. There is a speech bubble above his head that is cut off, again censored by the article, that says, "Blank them kids."
He left the bank in 2021 and created the Wicked Superstore in 2023. "I left a message for State Farm Asian Burke. I wanted to ask if he saw any inkling that Good would someday metamorphosize into Mr. Wicked. Burke did not call me back. I spoke briefly with, I can't pronounce the name, I'm sorry. Jocelyn Baldner. Okay. President and Chef Executive.
Chief?
Oh, what'd I say?
Chef.
I meant Chief Executive Officer of Central Bank in Springfield. She said she knew Good, worked with him, and had no further comment. Good, according to his LinkedIn profile, left the bank in February of 2021, and he created the Wicked Superstore in March of 2023. He grew up in Mountain Grove and graduated from Mountain Grove High School in
Graduated?
Graduated. He grew up in Mountain Grove and graduated from Mountain Grove High School in 1997. He's divorced and the father of 2 adult children. He bought the house outside of the city limits of Southwest Springfield in 2009. Oh my gosh. In 2009. He bought the house outside the city limits of Southwest Springfield in 2009.
Yes, you got it.
I'm just saying, dang, that was so long ago. He's an advocate for the rights of LGBTQ people, a fitness buff, and a man who, over the years, has been taken to court 8 times by those who
Alleged.
he owed them money. 2 of those actions were small claims filing
Filings.
against him. The judges against him were settled or dismissed months or years later. The article continues with Missouri Division of Employment Security has judgment against Wicked Superstore. The Wicked Superstore currently has a $4,248
Judgment?
dollar judgment pending against it from the Missouri Division of Employment Security. The state believes Good has not set aside required funds for employee taxes. Good has filed twice for Chapter 7 voluntary bankruptcy, once in 2003 when he was married, and once in 2015 when he was not. According to his 2015 bankruptcy petition, he earned $57,000 annually at State Farm. The Springfield Daily Citizen last week asked the city of Springfield for the number of calls for service made by first responders to Wicked Superstore's address in the year prior to the raid. There were a whopping 158 such calls, according to 911 Director April Ford. The Daily Citizen does not have a breakdown on the nature of the calls. On July 28th of 2024, the parking lot of the store was the site of a homicide.
Devontae Tavern Grant.
Who was 31 at the time and was from Texas, as he was shot in the parking lot. He was taken to a hospital where he later died. Isaiah Church was charged with murder in the 2nd degree. The case has not gone to trial and is moving through the court system.
And that's the end of that article.
Yep.
From the Springfield News-Leader, Missouri families can apply for Sunbucks until August 31st. The Missouri Department of Social Services is reminding families that applications are currently being accepted for the Missouri Sunbucks program to support families through the upcoming summer months. Our goal at DSS is to ensure that no child goes hungry, whether school is in session or not, DSS Director Jess Bax said in the news release. The Sunbucks program provides critical immediate relief to families, and we encourage all eligible Missourians to visit our website and apply today so we can get those vital resources directly into the hands of the families who need them the most. Here's what to know. What are Sunbucks? Sunbucks, officially known as Summer EBT, is a federal food assistance program that helps eligible families buy food for their children during the summer months. Who is eligible for Sunbucks? Children may be automatically eligible for Missouri Sunbucks and will not need to apply for the program if the household already participates in SNAP or temporary assistance, the child is aged 7 to 17 and is in the foster care, homeless, or a migrant, the child attends a school that offers the National School Lunch or School Breakfast program, and your household income meets the requirements for free or reduced price meals. If you believe your child already qualifies, you can check the Missouri Sunbucks Eligibility Navigator to see if you need to apply. How much in Sunbucks benefits will I get? Each eligible child will receive a one-time benefit of $120, which will be loaded into an EBT card. If you already receive SNAP or temporary assistance, your child's benefit will be available on the same card. If you don't have an EBT card, a new card will be mailed with the benefit on it. Your new EBT card will be used to issue any future benefits, so be sure to keep it in a safe place. When will summer EBT benefits be available in 2026? If you are automatically eligible, the benefit will be deposited as soon as possible, according to the state. If you have to apply, you will receive an EBT card and instructions in the mail. If you have an existing SNAP EBT card, you can sign up on the EBT Edge app to receive an alert when the deposit is available. Where can I spend Sunbucks? Sunbucks can be spent at grocery stores, markets, farmers markets, and some online retailers. For a list of eligible online retailers, visit fns.usda.gov. Do Sunbucks expire? Yes, Missouri Sunbucks benefits expire 120 days from issuance and are removed regardless of usage. Even though the benefits expire, you should still keep your EBT card to receive benefits faster the following summer. How do I apply for Sunbucks program? If your child qualifies for the program and isn't already enrolled, the first step is to create an account at mydss.mo.gov. After the account is created, you will then need to link it to your benefit record by entering the phone number or email address associated with your benefit notice. Once that's verified, you will then need to enter your date of birth and the last 4 digits of your social security number. If successful, you will be connected to the account. Eligible families have until August 31st to apply.
Sorry.
It's okay. And that is the end of that article.
Next up from Springfield Daily Citizen, Ozarks Pride Fest hones in on local talent and history for Saturday Festival. This is by Zoe McIntyre.
McIntyre.
Okay. The article starts, what was that one? The one on the wicked
It's okay.
car.
It's okay. It starts with a photo of last year's Pride with the progressive LGBTQ plus flag waving in the center of it and patrons walking around behind.
This flag uses a white, pink, and light blue stripes to represent the trans community. The black and brown stripes still represented communities of color and is a nod to the thousands of individuals that the community lost during the HIV/AIDS crisis in the 1980s and 1990s, according to the Human Rights Campaign. Or, not companion, I meant campaign. The Human Rights Campaign. And this photo was taken by Shannon Kay. That flag is pretty. Ozarks Pride Fest is returning to downtown Springfield this Saturday, June 13th. Hold on. Excuse me. The free event drew a crowd of about 6,000 people last year, including, that'd be 6,000, right? 6 and 3 zeros, that'd be 6,000?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just checking. 6,000 people last year, including visitors from Springfield's surrounding communities and other cities in southwest Missouri. The annual parade starts at the
Can you point to it, please?
the
Municipal
court located at 625 North Benton Avenue at 11:30 a.m. ending downtown at the intersection of McDaniel Street and South Avenue. About 120 booths, including local nonprofits, churches, and craft vendors, will start setting up at 11 a.m., and festivities on the square officially kick off at noon with Silly Rock band Waffle opening on the stage. It's a significant year for the Glow Center. For the Glow Center, Springfield's LGBTQ Community Center, and Pride Fest organizer. The nonprofit is celebrating its 30th anniversary in October. Executive Director Aaron Kitchens said one of the Glow Center's founding members and volunteers from the early days will be marching in the parade and having conversations with visitors in a dedicated history booth. Here's to know before you go. You can find the parade route and free sign-up form online. The route is slightly different from previous years because it will not circle the square. Organizers ask that people watching the parade do not stand on the MLK Bridge. On the main stage, there will be live music, drag, and remarks from speakers will be on the square from noon to 5:45 p.m., where you can find an
Itinerary?
online. And accessibility, the downtown square is wheelchair accessible by ramp. ASL
Interpreters?
will interpret the events on stage as well. Here are some emphasis on local. Now there's a picture of Glow Center founding member Linda Thomas on the right with her longtime partner Jeanette Hipskind at a Pride festival in 2023. And in front of them there's a dog. This photo was taken by Jim Wilson, and the two ladies are looking at the camera with
Rainbow bandanas?
with rainbow bandanas. But one of them is wearing a beige vest with a black shirt, and the other one is wearing a blue shirt. But yeah, they're all wearing bandanas, including the dog. That's honestly kind of cute. Sorry, I just like dogs.
It's okay. Keep going.
The Pride Fest is really going on in local entertainment, Kitchen said, including talent from the Ozarks region. The headlining drag and music performers for Saturday all come from Missouri, Northwest Arkansas, or the Springfield area. In fact, so many local drag performers expressed interest in part of being Pride Fest this year that the organizers decided to set up a second stage on Park Central East for part of the afternoon. Oh, okay. It was sort of a last-minute idea because normally we actually struggle to get enough drag performers, Kitchen said. Not all of them want to perform at Pride Fest and then also perform at whatever other venues they are a part of. We didn't have that issue this year. We had more than 20 express interest. Pride Fest is circus themed this year, an idea organizers were first drawn to because of the tagline, "Come one, come all," Kitchen said. He quipped, "You won't get out there and see a circus, but you might get out there and see a clown." The article continues with, "I think Springfield is ready to support all of us." And there's a picture of a Springfield Pride flag hanging outside a window from a downtown Springfield building, and this photo was taken by Shannon Kay. The Pride flag shows
It's the Springfield city flag with the star in the center and three sparkle stars at the top. but the Springfield Pride flag differs, as there is the progressive rainbow flag, rainbow stripe going through the back, and the top 3 stars are in the colors of the trans flag. They're going pink, white, and blue.
That's pretty. Kitchen said that
Anecdotally,
the environment in Springfield feels more supportive this year. We've not experienced any direct
bigotry,
threats, intimidation, anything like that this year, he said, adding, I think Springfield is ready to support all of us and can be a community where we can all thrive. Ooh. Thrive is a good thing, right?
yes.
Nice. Funds for Pride Fest were raised early this year thanks to sponsors and vendor sign-ups. The support's really been there to see the event continue to grow, Kitchen said. The Glow Center plans to host the Pride on C Street block party for a second year this fall. Pride Fest is taking place 1 week after city officials in Mansfield canceled all permitted events in June on the community square. The scheduled Pride event turned into a protest. Mansfield is the nearest city outside of Springfield that hosts its own Pride celebration. Kitchen said that in comparison, Ozarks Pride Fest has, quote, never had any issues working with the city and downtown Springfield, even as the event has grown to thousands of attendees. The article ends with Kitchens saying, we're really pleased that we have such strong partnerships here locally, that our event has continued to grow, not grown, and that we help inspire folks in communities near to us to continue building their community and building up their events and programs. That's it for that article.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen. Draft SPS budget calls for pay raises while also cutting positions. Declining enrollment, reduced support from lawmakers leads to reduced income. Board hears proposal to grant raises while cutting positions. Continue investment into behavior system, handle increasing costs for supplies. Article written by Joe Hadsall. The article starts with a photo of Clarissa Pullman as she is walking by a cluster of student desks who are completing a time-telling radial puzzle. The classroom is decorated in paper ribbons and art in the background, and the 4 students are indeed focused on the puzzle that she is leaning over to help them with. Photo provided by Ellie Freistack. With declining state funds and enrollment, Springfield Public Schools is preparing to carefully watch expenses for the upcoming school year. While it will continue investing in its behavioral management system and include pay raises for employees, it will cut the equivalent of nearly 70 full-time positions across the district, according to a draft of its upcoming budget. The board heard preliminary budget numbers Tuesday, June 9th, during a study session meeting. It anticipates revenue of $373,398,434 and expenditures of $374,046,190 for the 26-27 school year. The budget is expected to be approved during its upcoming regular meeting set for June 25th. The fiscal year begins on July 1st. The budget reflects promises of flat funding expected from the state. Kara Stassel, Executive Director of Business Services, said the SPF expects to receive $108,931,461 in state funding, down from $111,385,693 in the current year. In May, state lawmakers approved a budget that shortchanges funding for K-12 schools by $190 million, yet increases an annual payment into Mo Scholars, the state's private school voucher program, to $60 million. Governor Mike Kehoe has not yet signed that budget. As parts of its budget work, the state adjusted the average per student amount paid to school districts from $6,900 to $6,830. That reduction, combined with the project enrollment decline in SPS, accounted for the roughly $2.5 million drop in state funding, Stassel said. There is a photo of Kara Stassel, the Executive Director of Business Services, as she is leading the meeting, holding a clicker that is changing the slides on the screen behind her. Photo provided by Joe Hadsall. State funding accounts for about 29% of the district's income for the upcoming year. The largest portion of revenue will come from local property taxes. The $217,283,332 accounts for about 58% of incomes. Property owners pay a levy of $4.09 per $100 of assessed valuation. The entirety of the district is within Greene County. Stassel said the district estimates an increase of $4,673,277 in property taxes this year, based on this being a non-reassessment year, $50 million in new construction and 95% collection rate. Expenses being watched, positions getting cut. The lower than expected income means the district is watching expenses. As part of employee salary increases, the district is planning to spend an additional $6,487,691. Benefits spending will increase by $379,912. Both of those increases are smaller than increases for the current school year. Collective bargaining between SPS and 10 employee groups has completed. The results of those negotiations are expected to be presented during the next meeting. 9 groups of employees, including the district's almost 3,000 teachers, are represented by the Springfield National Education Association. Bus drivers are represented by Teamster Local Number 245. The district has more than 4,000 employees. The collective bargaining process does not include superintendents, directors, and other administrative level positions. A handful of positions will be added in the upcoming year, such as $448,952 for positions related to special education, $103,228 for full-time and part-time bus drivers, and $79,821 for a 504 process coordinator. 2 other positions will be added through either federal funding or a community partnership. But far more positions are being eliminated. Stassel said the equivalent of 66.78 full-time positions will be eliminated for a saving of $4.3 million. When asked for clarification, Deputy Superintendent of Operations Travis Shaw said that all the cuts were handled through attrition. They include full-time, part-time, and temporary positions, and employees affected by realignments were given the opportunity to apply for other positions across the district. Shaw said this review of positions at every school is annual, and this year's review gave the districts the chance to shift some money into employee raises. These adjustments allow the district to reasonably align resources with enrollment while continuing to invest in its employees, Shaw said. By proactively managing resources and planning for changing enrollment and funding conditions, the district is strengthening its long-term financial sustainability while continuing to prioritize student success and employee support. The district is also in the second of a 2-year plan to cut about 142 jobs from the budget. About 80% of the district's budget goes towards salaries and benefits. Other costs increase reflect the same inflation and increased costs that all Americans face. For example, the district plans to spend an additional $423,000 for food services because of increased food costs. Almost $4.8 million will be spent on the district's behavioral management based on a framework of positive behavior interventions and supports. That allocation includes staff members for focus rooms, behavior intervention, and impact classroom teachers, as well as 11 assistant principals. The district will also spend an additional $425,926 to support Everdriven, a third-party transportation service that allows the districts to expand its bus routes and include more students. The board will consider the contract extension with the service during its next meeting. The budget calls for dipping into the district's reserve funds to meet the $7,756 deficit between revenues and expenses. Stossel said that the SPS will retain a reserve fund of 21.63% during the upcoming year, above a 15% amount set by board policy and a 17% amount set in the district's strategic plan. And that is the end of that article.
Springfield Daily Citizen. Craig Wood, one of 8 prisoners condemned in Missouri. None has an execution date. One was sentenced to death in 1984. This is by Steve Pokin. There's a picture of, there's a, how would I explain
There is
a picture in 2?
There are 3 mugshots overlapping over the aerial view of the Potosi Correctional Center.
Outside the village of Mineral Point in Washington County, Missouri. These photos of Craig Wood, wait, what would they say they were from?
They're mugshots?
No, they're photos of Craig Wood by who?
By the Missouri Department of Corrections.
Okay. With an appeals process that can take decades, how often do defendants sentenced to death in Missouri die in prison before their execution date? Craig Wood, convicted for the 2014 kidnapping and murder of 10-year-old Hallie Owens, did I say it right? Is one of 8 men, what's that word?
Incarcerated.
By the Missouri Department of Corrections who have been sentenced to die. He is 58 years old and does not have an execution date set. In fact, none of the 8 men do, and none of them was sentenced to death in 1984. A 9th man will likely join the list on June 18th, when a Franklin County judge sentences Kenneth Lee Simpson, who a jury found guilty in January for shooting and killing Herman
the police department Sergeant Mason Griffith
in March of 2023. Detective, yeah. The same jury recommended the death penalty. Simpson also shot and seriously injured Herman office Adam Solenterp.
Solenterp?
That's what I said.
Yeah, you got it.
Missouri is one of the 27 states with the death penalty. Of those 27, only Missouri and Indiana. Wait, did I say it right?
Yep.
Why was I thinking of India?
It's okay.
Okay, Indiana and Missouri only allow a judge to impose the death penalty when a jury deadlocks on the issue. This is what happened in Wood's case. In Missouri, the death penalty can only be sought by prosecutors in cases of first-degree murder and only when the defendant is 18 or older. It cannot be applied if the defendant has a mental impairment and lacks the ability to understand the nature and purpose of the punishment. Wood was sentenced to death in 2017. He has not exhausted all of his appeals. He has not exhausted them.
Yes.
However, he was granted extra time to appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court. Of the 189 people that have been sentenced to death in Missouri since 1989, 52.4% have been executed. At the request of the Springfield Daily Citizen, the Missouri Department of Corrections provided the dispositions of all 189 people 184 of them men, who have been given a death sentence in Missouri since the state resumed executions in 1989. How many of those 189 have been executed? 99, all men, or 52.4%. How many had a higher court change their death sentence to life in prison? 56, 2 women, or 29.6%. How many of these condemned died in prison by natural causes before execution? 12, 1 woman, or 6.3%. Perhaps the reason is that most criminals are young when
Incarcerated?
which might account for so few murderers sentenced to death in Missouri dying of natural causes. In addition, 2 inmates sentenced to death died by suicide in poison. One was killed in
prison.
What did I say?
In poison.
2 inmates sentenced to death by suicide in prison, not poison. One was killed in prison, and the other one died of unknown causes. 2 inmates sentenced to death had their cases sent back to court for resentencing and were sentenced to death a second time. One inmate sentenced to death was a woman who was medically paroled. There's a picture of there are 2 different people, right?
So William Theodore Bullock is there is a picture of his original mugshot paired next to a picture of him now.
Oh, okay. So like a then and now.
Yes, as he was originally sentenced in 1983, and this shot was taken this year. He is visibly aged in the second shot.
It says he murdered his girlfriend's 18-year-old sister in 1983 and was convicted and then sentenced to death in 1984. He once had an execution date on August 25th of 1997. However, he's still alive today and is still
incarcerated.
Yes. And these photos are from the Department of Corrections. William Theodore Bullock Jr. of
Thayer,
as mentioned before, was sentenced to death December 12, 1984. Nevertheless, he's alive in prison and is now 70 years old. Attorney Gordon Ankeny wrote about Bullock's case for the St. Louis Lawyer blog on July 8, 2025, titled The Curious Case of William Ted Bullock. Ankeny was a prosecutor in the case, which moved from Oregon County to Camden County. Bullock killed Jody Harless, who was 18 years old and the sister of his girlfriend. He used a shotgun to shoot her in the stomach and then shot her again in the mouth. Dang. Saying he did not want the body to be identified through dental records. Ironically, Ankeny wrote the body was identified through dental records. Right before trial, the defense attorney pleaded with the judge for one more time because he had not had adequate time to prepare for the death penalty case. The trial judge was hard-nosed but granted a continuance from 4:30 p.m. to the next morning. Bullock took the stand the next day, and Ankeny writes, and as a result, his extensive criminal background became known to juniors. Bullock his extensive criminal background became known to juniors. Jurors, not juniors.
Okay.
Bullock also showed the jury his tattoo of a double-barreled shotgun with smoking barrels and the words "Death Dealer." Governor Mel
Carnahan?
stayed Bullock's execution.
Execution?
That's what I said. What did I say?
Execution.
I thought I said education. And he stayed Bullock's
It's okay. Execution.
and ordered a review of the case. The review was completed, but before Carnahan decided Bullock's fate, he died in an airplane crash.
And Kanice?
Carnahan, was that him?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So he died in a plane crash.
Yes.
And Anna Key's article concludes, over 40 years after a death sentence was returned by a Camden County jury, William Theodore Bullock is still confined on death row at Potosi, Missouri, without having an execution date and no records as to why. In addition to Wood and Bullock, the other 6 are Charles Mathena, who is 67, of rural Fredericktown, and was sentenced to death in January 8th of 1985 as he fatally stabbed 2 elderly sisters in 1983. There was Roosevelt Pollard, 63, of St. Louis, and was sentenced to death in January 27th of 1986 as he killed a motorist in a 1983 at a rest stop. There's Terrence Anderson, who was 50 and was sentenced to death on May 16th of 2001. In 1997, he killed his girlfriend's parents in Poplar
Bluff.
And he was sentenced to life imprisonment without parole for the murder of Stephen Rainwater, and was sentenced to death for the murder of Debbie Rainwater, who was holding Anderson's baby when he shot her in the head. Ugh. Then there's Vincent McFadden, who was 46 and was sentenced to death on April 25 of 2005 as he fatally shot his girlfriend's sister in 2003 and a man in Pine Lot in 2002. There's Richard Darren Emery, who was 54 and was sentenced to death in November 3rd of 2022 as he murdered his girlfriend and 2 children and her mother in 2018 in St. Charles. Then lastly, there was Joshua Tyler Rocha, who was 28 and was sentenced to death in November of 2025. He Rocha murdered North Kansas City police officer Daniel
Vasquez
in July of 2022. From hanging to gas chamber to lethal injection, the Death Penalty Information Center tracks capital punishment. Its offices are in Washington, D.C. Missouri executed 285 people from 1810 to 1965. According to the center, Missouri executed via hanging until 1937. The last time there was a public hanging in Greene County was at 5:15 a.m. Friday 12th, 1935. That's when Frank Sonny McDaniel, who was 30 and was hanged for the murder of his girlfriend, Sevilla Scott. The last public hanging in Missouri occurred in 1937 in Galena,
yeah.
which is in Stone Roscoe Red Jackson was hanged for murdering traveling salesman Pearl
Bosworth?
in Taney County. The 54-year-old salesman had made the mistake of giving a ride to Jackson, who was hitchhiking. Jackson killed him, stole his car, and Jackson was hanged on May 20th of 1937. 40 gassed to death, mostly black men. The rare dual-seat gas chamber in which, over time, 40 inmates were executed at the Old Missouri State Penitentiary, now a museum in Jefferson City. And this photo was taken by the Library of Congress. In 1937, the state moved to execution via gas chambers, which was in the Missouri State Penitentiary in Jefferson City. The original the original idea was to use an electric chair. The state has a list of the 40 inmates gassed to death, including 23 of those executed were black men. One of the 40 was a woman. One of the major criticisms of the death penalty in the United States is that it has been disproportionately against black defendants. The only woman killed in the gas chamber was Bonnie Emily Hetty. She and her boyfriend Carl were convicted of kidnapping and killing a 6-year-old boy named Bobby Greenlease of Kansas City in 1953. According to the FBI's website, Hetty had gone to the boy's school in Kansas City and said she was his aunt. The boy's father was a wealthy auto dealer. Hetty lied and said that the boy's mother just had a heart attack. A few hours later, after the kidnapping, the Greenlease parents received the first ransom letter concerning the return of their son. There's a picture of Carl Hall and Bonnie Emily Hetty as their these would be considered mugshots too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I'm just saying they were different back then. It demanded that $600,000 in $20 and $10 bills be placed in a duffel bag. Wait.
Yep, you read that right.
Hang on. So, wait.
You read that sentence perfectly right.
Yeah, so what would this be? $600,000 in $20 and $10 bills? Like,
yep, it's in $20 and $10 bills.
20 $10 bills.
No, $20 bills and $10 bills.
Huh. Because it doesn't say how many $10 bills or how many $20 bills.
As the amount of money would be $600,000, and it would only be given in $10 bills and $20 bills. That is what it's communicating.
Explain to me later.
Okay.
The kidnappers promised the boy safe return in 24 hours as long as there were no tricks in delivering the money. The parents paid the ransom not knowing their son was already murdered. The couple had killed the boy after the abduction and buried the body near Hetty's house in St. Joseph. Hall later admitted that he shot the boy. Since 1987, according to the Missouri Department of Corrections, a woman has not been executed in the state. That's because the state considers the execution of Amber McLaughlin on Jan 3rd of 2023, the execution of Scott A. McLaughlin, a man. McLaughlin was the first openly transgender person put to death in the United States. McLaughlin raped and murdered Beverly Gunther in Earth City and dumped the body in St. Louis. At the time of the crime, McLaughlin was living as a man. The gender transition occurred while McLaughlin was
incarcerated.
right? Missouri switched from gas chambers to lethal injection. Missouri switched from gas chamber to execution via lethal injection in 1987. Nevertheless, state law leaves open the use of lethal gas. Although the state's gas chamber no longer exists, the law states the manner of inflicting the punishment of death shall be by the administration of lethal gas or by means of the administration of lethal injection. The Department of Corrections has exclusively used lethal injection since 1987. Condemned inmates are housed in the general population at the
Potosi.
Correctional Center. There is no death row in Missouri. Executions are at the Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center in Bon Terre. As an indication of how greater care is used in implementing the death penalty in Missouri and how the process has changed over the decades, consider this. Bobby Greenlease was abducted from school on September 28th of 1953. The FBI was called in. The boy was murdered shortly after the abduction. Hetty and Hall were arrested on October 6th of 1953, and they pleaded guilty that same year on October 30th. A jury found them guilty, confirming their plea on November 19th of 1953. 15 minutes later, Judge Albert L. Reeves sentenced them to be put to death on December 18th of 1953. They were executed together in the gas chamber on that date, less than 3 months after the boys' abduction and murder.
We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store, situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore most of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platform serves as valuable resources for community engagement and education. From the Springfield Daily Citizen, former Senator Roy Blunt celebrated for supporting healthcare apprentice program. Blunt's earmark helped Missouri Chamber Foundation support more than 1,300 apprentices across the state, a bulk of whom are working in Springfield. Article written by Joe Hadsall. The article starts with Roy Blunt standing in the center as he talks to Matilda Ritzheimer, who is in scrubs, and Kristen Blum, who is in an EMT uniform, and are both graduates of 2 apprentice programs through the Cox Health program. This occurred on Wednesday, June 10th, 2026 in Springfield. Photo provided by Ellie Freistack. Officials with the Missouri Chamber of Commerce visited Springfield on Wednesday, June 10th to salute a retired congressman and 2 agencies that built a successful apprentice program. Former Senator Roy Blunt was honored by Chamber officials for his work to fuel federal COVID recovery grants into a program that allowed students to get jobs in the high-demand medical field. The event was held at Cox Health West Campus, located on Republic Road. Karen Bushman, executive director of the Missouri Chamber Foundation, said that $4.35 million in grants from the American Rescue Plan Act fueled the industry-driven healthcare apprenticeship program. Blunt helped secure an additional $1.35 million for the program before he retired from the Senate in 2023. The program has helped more than 1,300 people across the state land apprenticeships for jobs in the healthcare field. Not just his proposal, which was geared towards healthcare. Prior to that, he also helped us secure a $6 million grant to advance IT jobs, Bushman said during the event. Throughout his time in Congress, Senator Blunt has worked tirelessly to ensure our state receives federal investments. He He's left a lasting legacy you can see over the state. The article is broken up by a photo of Missouri Chamber Foundation Executive Director Karen Bushman as she gives her opening remarks for the recent updates and success of the Healthcare Apprenticeship Program on Wednesday, June 10th, 2026. She is standing in front of two screens that say Missouri Chamber and Cox Health, and is standing at a podium speaking into a microphone. The point of view from the camera is behind several guests in the audience. A bulk of those 1,300 jobs are in Springfield, Bushman said, because Cox Health and Ozarks Technical Community College were willing partners. Unlike other certification programs available across the region, an apprenticeship is an actual job paid by the employer, Blunt said. The process is the oldest way to learn. Ozarks Tech Chancellor Hall Hidgen said he was a proponent of such programs, stemming from prior higher education experience in Mississippi, where he struggled to get business to buy in. Hidgen has worked to establish apprenticeship programs in several sectors, but an arrangement with Cox Health gave the college one its biggest corporate partners. Through apprenticeship programs and others, Hidgen said that a student can start at the ground level and earn certificates while getting paid for the work they are doing. They have been around for a long time, but they've only been cool for a short time, Hidgen said. He finally found a big fish in Cox Health, and we made it happen. I'm really happy that the Missouri Chamber Foundation is working to replicate this, but a lot of this wouldn't have happened without Senator Blunt. Wednesday's event included stories from graduates Matilda Ritzheimer and Christian Blum. Max Buteau, president and CEO of Cox Health, said that the apprenticeship started with a medical assistance program that now is behind about 85% of its workforce for that position. He said that He said that the people who benefit from the program also take on new apprentices of their own. Before Ritzheimer spoke about her story, Buteau asked audience members to note a title badge on her uniform. She's not just one of our proud medical assistants, Buteau said about Ritzheimer. That little name badge says, preceptor. She is now paying this forward. She is now teaching the next generation of people who will come to these careers, and she's helping us build a future in this region. And that is the end of this article.
Wow, this is cool. It's got a real live stream.
That's awesome. I think we should read the article to give them context.
Yeah, give them context. From the Springfield News-Leader, cyclist pedals through Springfield in attempt to set Route 66 record. Should I read the key points or should I just continue?
That's just summarizing the article. You probably want to read the whole article.
All right then. It was his 8th day in the saddle of a bicycle, pedaling day and night and dealing with the summer heat, when 66-year-old Joe Barr cycled through Springfield the morning of Wednesday, June 10th. The Queen City was just a temporary stop on his journey to bike the length of Route 66 from Santa Monica, California to Chicago, Illinois in 10 days. Barr, an ultra cyclist, from Ireland, is taking on the Mother Road in an attempt to set a Guinness World Record for something never done before, cycling the entirety of Route 66 nonstop. Barr cycled into Springfield as he neared the 1,900-mile point of the total 2,448-mile race. The record attempt comes as the iconic route celebrates its centennial this year. There's a picture of Joe Barr cycling through Springfield on Wednesday, followed by a support crew as he attempts to set this world record by completing the entire route on a bike in one go. He was in Springfield on his 8th day on the road, hoping to reach Chicago by his 67th birthday on June 13th. This photo was taken by Marta Miez. With a support crew following him behind and a film crew documenting his journey, Barr is only stopping for extended rest every 18 to 24 hours, sleeping 3 to 5 hours at a time. His crew manages his aches and pain, ensures his crew manages his aches and pains and ensures he stays hydrated and satiated, pulling his safety first. With every turn of a pedal, Barr comes closer to becoming the first to complete Route 66 this way. The idea for the attempt, which Barr called a, quote, calculated crazy endeavor, was born 2 years ago as Barr traveled through Oklahoma en route to California and saw the signage for Route 66. As he looked more into the Mother Road and the records, or lack their, what?
Mother Roads and the records, or lack thereof,
set on the iconic road, he described it as a light bulb moment. This is the most iconic road in the U.S., so from history point of view, I just felt it was, just a sensational possibility, Barr said. So I sat down one night with my pencil and decided how many firsts are in this possibility. So the first person to ever finish it, the first Guinness World Record, and the first and only opportunity to be able to do it on the first
sensational. Oh, sedentary.
There was just a list, and it almost explained itself. The planning, he said, wasn't easy. After convincing his wife Jillian Mooney and his crew chief, there were still a lot of
logistics
to work out. With all the twists and turns, Barr said it almost got to the point where plans were about to fall through. Barr, with support from friends and strangers who have become friends, momentum started building and the race came together. Barr gave a lot of credit to Patrick Tuttle, the director of Visit Joplin and a cyclist himself, who Barr's team found by chance, but who has been instrumental in putting together parts of the journey and offered insight into the history of Route 66. The success we're having so far is down to a lot more people than me, he said. To be truthful, I'm the guy who gets to do it, but my whole crew and everybody who is all part of that whole construction. Now, at this point, there are literally hundreds of people who all did some one piece and played a part in that along the way. This is by no means Barr's first long haul race. He has been part of several coordinated races, including several races across America, and even set a world record before, cycling Ireland's Wild Atlantic Way, another iconic road. But Barr said Route 66 is a different beast. There's a picture once again of Joe Barr cycling through Springfield. I can't see where he's passing, but because it basically what it said on the first panel.
Yep. He's passing down a road with his crew following behind him and two other bikers on either side of him.
Route 66 was decommissioned in 1985. That has meant Barr has to cycle on the shoulders of interstates and roads and along roads that have fallen into disrepair. Taking on the iconic road in June also has proven to be challenging. Barr had to endure high temperatures in the desert and higher altitudes in the early stages of the race that put him behind schedule of his intentional goal, right?
Where are we looking? Initial.
Yeah, initial, so I said it right? Initial goal of his completion in 8 days. Through the hundreds of miles he has put on his bike, Barr said there have been harder and easier days. During his time at Springfield, he said he felt more confident that he can fight to reach the finish line. Along the way, he has been greeted by small town residents who have cheered him on. In the spirit of Route 66, known for its relics and memorabilia, Barr has left behind his jerseys
Sporadically.
along the way to make his mark on the road. With the Mother Road stretching across 8 states, Barr said he and his wife plan to make a list of his favorite states to come back and visit. The journey, he said, has shown them the unique characteristics and beauty of each place. Through the lens of ultra cycling, which is my world, I get the opportunity to showcase Route 66, the people of the town, the towns. That's what it really is, Barr said. And it has changed from the start of the race in Santa Monica to where we are now. This race has changed from being simply a race to something much greater than that, even for me. And I'm the guy who's supposed to be racing this thing. As he set off from Santa Monica on June 2nd, the goal was to make it to Chicago to set a record before he returned 67 on June 13th. While the finish line is still ahead, Barr said the purpose of the race has taken on a new meaning. I'm at the point where I think it would be truthful to say if I get to the finish and we actually create the record, it's not actually the primary position anymore, he said. We had experiences that has changed what victory we've had experiences that has changed what victory looks like. Victory looks like something different now, so I'm looking forward to understanding what it is, or what that is. But I think I'll take a long time to actually articulate it correctly as to what this I think it'll take a long time to actually articulate it correctly as to what exactly this has been.
There's a photo of Joe Barr from inside the vehicle following him as he makes a turn through Springfield once more.
As Barr attempts to set a world record, a documentary crew is following along to show a glimpse of where the journey entails. Leslie Eads,
Leslie Eads,
co-director and impact strategist for the film, said the film project came to be as executive director Patrick O'Connor, who also cycles, learned about Barr's plans and approached him about documenting the feat.
Eads
and her partner Matt Wagner had worked with O'Connor on other projects, so they ended up joining the team. Eads said from the filmmaking side, Barr's constant movement has been an ever-evolving challenge. We can only plan so much, and then it's being prepared out here to pivot when the plan goes completely out the window, which it does early and often, she said. Now there's a live stream of a map. As I'm speaking right now, Joe Barr is 16 minutes away from the finish line. Wait, hang on, can you?
So the article is broken up by a live stream, as Madison said, of Joe Barr's progress through Route 66. It is updated as of 16 minutes ago. He is just now about leaving Missouri and heading into Indiana.
Illinois.
Illinois. And is close to his destination, compared to the rest of his journey.
Hang on. So we started from here.
Yes. He started in California and is ending in Chicago.
Whoa, he's almost there.
Yeah, he just has one more state to go through.
Well, keep going, Joe.
We're not done yet. So do you want to scroll down to the rest of the article? Right there.
Yeah. Whoa, that's a lot of distances.
Do you want to keep reading?
Yeah. As the cross-journey trip, Eads first on Route 66 continues, she said the filmmakers are letting the story tell itself. This is still unfolding. We're allowing the story to reveal itself to us, Eads said. But I think going into it, for me, this film is about legacy for Joe. And he's on the mother road, Route 66. There's such a legacy with the road itself. There's a legacy with him and his career as a cyclist, and it's a culmination of everything that he's done in his life to get to this point. She said Route 66 has a certain magic to it that brings people together that she has also witnessed in Barr's journey. Strangers from different parts of the country turning into family, and even though what Barr has taken on is not an experience shared by many, that's what Eads said, documenting his
perseverance
in the face of hardship is a true human experience. Being able to also capture the struggle that Joe goes through and how he manages to keep moving forward, how he keeps that, being able to capture the struggle that Joe goes through and how he manages that to keep moving forward, I think can be
applicable
to anybody, no matter what they're going through, she said. The film is anticipated to be completed this fall. Details and updates are shared on Joe Barr's Route 66 film project, social media pages, as well as Barr's crew and on the Barr Ultra pages. As Barr takes on Route 66 at age 66, Barr said he hopes to inspire people to enjoy movement regardless of age. As you get older, that doesn't mean to say that everything has to stop. He said that they don't need to ride across America, but they could ride around the block, or they could ride to the local shop, or they could just feel better. So I feel like it's an opportunity to inspire people to first of all try something different, and hopefully if that changes one person, it'll be a success. Eads, who has witnessed Barr's relentless motivations and movements, said the race has come down to showing that a person can write their own story. He defies everything that we've taught is possible as we age, she said. There's so much that I think people are told that we can or can't do because of whatever age we are, or whatever other limits we're taught, or that we learn along the way, and he's just really showing that each of us gets to determine what's possible for ourselves no matter what age you are.
Yeah, that's the end of that article. From the Springfield News-Leader, Tracy Kimberlin named to Destinations International Hall of Fame. Article written by Janice Reeser. Tracy Kimberlin, former president and CEO of Visit Springfield, has been selected for the Destinations International Hall of Fame. Kimberlin is one of 4 industry leaders chosen for the 2026 class, according to a community announcement. The Hall of Fame is the highest honor awarded by Destinations International, the world's leading membership association for destination organizations. Destinations International is proud to honor Tracy Kimberlin with the Hall of Fame, recognizing his outstanding leadership, vision, and enduring contributions to both Visit Springfield and the broader travel and tourism industry. Don Welsh, President and CEO of Destinations International, said in the announcement. Tracy has helped elevate the standard of excellence in our field, inspiring peers and advancing the mission of destination stewardship worldwide. We look forward to formally recognizing his achievements during our recognition celebration at the 2026 Destinations International Annual Convention in Portland, Oregon, July 21st to 23rd, 2026. Years of service and innovation. Kimberlin helped elevate the national profile of Visit Springfield, then known as Springfield Convention and Visitors Bureau, establishing Springfield as one of Missouri's leading tourism destinations during his 35-year tenure, according to the announcement. He played a key role in developing the Missouri Model, a tourism funding structure that strengthened statewide tourism promotion and became recognized nationally as a successful framework for destination marketing. His contributions to the tourism industry have been recognized through the establishment of the Tracy Kimberlin Hospitality Award and the Tracy Kimberlin Travel and Tourism Scholarship by the Missouri Division of Tourism. For 35 years, Tracy helped me shape not only the organization, but the visitor economy that supports businesses, attractions, and jobs throughout our community. Mark Heckett, President and CEO of Visit Springfield, said in the announcement. His influence can still be seen across Springfield and throughout the tourism industry. This recognition from Destinations International is incredibly well-deserved, and we're proud to see him honored for the lasting impact he has made on our community and our profession. Kimberlin retired from Visit Springfield in 2022, but remains involved in tourism. Legislative priorities and community organizations continue to advocate for the industry and support the region according to the announcement. And that is all for that article.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, what does city utilities think about small solar panels that you can plug into an outlet? Ooh. This is by Steve Pokin. Are they talking about actual solar panels that you can just...
I think you should read the article and I'll let you know.
That looks cool. First off, there's a picture of plug-in solar panels on an apartment balcony. It doesn't say where this photo was taken from.
Photo by...
No, it says for, not from.
The photo was provided for Wikimedia Commons.
Okay. And how do I explain the apartment?
You explained it well. That is a balcony of an apartment that the solar panels are plugged into.
Yeah. Jim sent me a link.
So do you want to read the answer?
Oh, sorry.
Or the question?
Sorry, more context. Answer man, do you have any idea how city utilities view small home solar panels that can be plugged into an electric outlet? Jim
of Fuqua, unincorporated, Greene County.
Jim sent me a link to a March 19th NPR story by Jeff Brady that aired on Monday morning, morning edition, not Monday.
It's okay.
So, before I get to it, what city utilities has to say about plug-in solar panels, let me provide the highlights of the NPR story so you know what I'm talking about. These small solar panels are often placed on balconies or backyards. They generate enough electricity to power a refrigerator or microwave. They are trending in Germany, where more than 1.2 million are registered with the government, according to the story. A California nonprofit called Bright Saver is a major advocate in the United States. The story states, for the panels to become more widely available in the U.S., state lawmakers are proposing bills that eliminate complicated utility connection agreements, which are required for larger rooftop solar installation, and most utilities say should apply to plug-in solar too. Those agreements, along with permitting and other installation costs, can double the prices that can double the price of solar panels. But the drive toward plug-in solar is facing pushback from electric utilities. They are raising safety concerns and prompting
legislators
to delay votes on the bills. The main safety concern seems to be that since the panels generate electricity rather than use it, when power is thought to be off or shut down, they possibly could shock someone, perhaps a line worker, working on restoring power. Some power complaints, not complaints, some power companies say that while they know where rooftop solar panels are, they would not necessarily know where plug-in panels are. They also don't know if the small panels installed by customers have received UL Solution certification. Cora
Stryker
with the California nonprofit Bright Saver said in the NPR story, these safety concerns already have been addressed and the utility companies are worried about losing business. Other advocates point out that the panels have been used in Germany for nearly a decade and that with more than 1 million systems installed, safety has not been an issue. Okay, so have you followed me so far? I called Jamie Presley, spokeswoman for city utilities, and I sent her a link to the NPR story. In turn, Presley obtained the following response from Marcia McClannon, Director of Energy Services at City Utilities. City Utilities does not currently have a policy specific to plug-in solar panels, sometimes referred to as balcony or patio solar panels. However, we are discussing whether a program is needed specifically for this technology, such as an interconnection process similar to our existing net metering program. The interconnection process ensures customer-owned equipment meets the safety and technical requirements before connecting it to the electric grid. Our electric team views plug-in solar panels much like portable generators because both can produce electricity for a home and pose similar safety risks if not installed correctly. Improper installation can result in backfeeding. This is when electricity flows back into the power lines, creating a dangerous situation for utility crews working to restore power. For the safety of our customers and our employees, we encourage customers to install these panels according to manufacturer
specifications
and to use a licensed electrician to review their breaker box before installation. As an added safety measure, we are researching whether an interconnection process is needed to help ensure these systems are installed safely. City Utilities is supportive of solar energy. We encourage customers to thoroughly research their options, including expected output, the impact on bills, and the anticipated payback period. Understanding the potential savings on the electric portion of their CU bill before making an investment is crucial. Our Smart Solutions team is available to answer questions about plug-in solar panels as well as full-scale systems and can be reached out at 417-874-8200. Ooh, my voice is getting off. I'm sorry.
It's okay. From the Springfield News-Leader, Willard leaders discuss who should be allowed to give public comments. Article written by Marta Mies. Public comments during local government meetings are a popular way for local residents to voice concerns in the Ozarks and in council chambers and boardrooms across the country. but lengthy public testimony has led some communities to discuss who should be allowed to address an elected body. That was a discussion raised at the Willard Board of Alders meeting Monday, June 8th. Well, ultimately, the board did not decide on any changes to its public comment policy. Mayor Troy Smith proposed only allowing those who live or own a business within city limits to be allowed to speak during citizen input. The citizen input section is an open forum portion of the board meeting that allows anyone to raise a topic in front of the board. This is different from public hearings on specific agenda items that require speakers to stay on the subject and provide for anyone affected to address the topic. The article is broken up by a picture of a sign that says Willard City Hall, Municipal Court. Currently, anyone, regardless of residence, can address Willard elected officials during the citizen input time built into each meeting agenda. An open forum of that sort is not required by law, but is a common inclusion in Missouri. By law, local governments can determine the time, place, and manner for public comments without discriminating on the content of comments. Willard City Attorney Holly Dodge said courts have upheld government bodies' ability to limit public comment to only residents of the municipality, since those are the people who elected officials to represent them. However, through the discussion, board members said it would be too tricky to define who a citizen is, and whether land or business owners who may not live or vote in Willard could still be categorized as such. The proposed ordinance in front of the board June 8th would have placed the citizen input at the end of the meeting and would require speakers to sign up before the meetings begin, along with limiting who could speak. Former Mayor and Alderman Sam Baird addressed the board before the discussion, asking for citizen input to be earlier in the agenda and to include those who own property within city limits. Smith emphasized that currently anyone, whether they live in the city, in the county, or a completely different state, can address the board. He said that even if citizen input was limited, anyone could still be able to contact the board and share their thoughts via phone, call, or email. Everyone has representation, Smith said. The people who live in Meadows or just 10 feet outside the city limit of Willard, they have county representatives. They have people there that are supposed to represent them and their interests. The largest discussion point centered on people who are served by Willard water and sewer but do not live within city limits. Alderman Casey Byler said these people are still impacted by the decisions the board may make and should be able to address the board. The city created a water advisory board after non-city residents raised this exact issue. Rate changes impacted them without any representation in city government. The water advisory board includes out-of-town resident members and holds its own citizen input sessions. We have a lot of members of our community who are not necessarily inside the community who are active members of the community. They pay water and sewer, Byler said. She said while the board is meant to ensure that the city receives input from utility customers outside of city limits, that does not necessarily happen in practice. Other board members agreed that those on utilities should be able to have a voice when it comes to those subjects, yet limiting non-resident speakers to only those topics could be challenging. Currently, Willard also does not have a codified time limit on citizen input. Dodge recommended a 2-minute limit for each speaker, noting lengthy meetings means city employees are working overtime. According to the draft ordinance attached to the agenda, that time limit would pertain to public hearings, not citizen input. Springfield provides each speaker 5 minutes though for public hearings. The limit can be reduced to 3 minutes per speaker if 8 or more people have signed up. By the end of the discussion, only agenda items, the board decided not to move forward with any changes at the time, though Smith said it could be revisited later. The discussion comes on the heels of a controversial Greene County rezoning for a subdivision just outside of Willard city limits. Greene County Commission approved a rezoning of roughly 14 acres last week to allow for smaller-sized lots to be developed just northeast of the intersection of North State Highway AB and State Highway EE. Willard city government was involved in utility infrastructure talks pertaining to the new subdivision plans, and future annexation was discussed during county hearings. Nearby residents have vehemently opposed the development, voicing concern about higher density and inadequate infrastructure in the area. Smith told the News-Leader the subdivision proposal was not the only factor in raising the topic. He said instead it came from seeing many other public hearings across both the region and the country that have included lengthy testimonies from people who have no vested interest in the area, in quotations. While Willard simply discussed possible changes to public comment procedures, the Branson Board of Aldermen were set to also discuss and vote on changes to their own public comment rules Tuesday, June 9th. The amendment in front of the Branson Board would limit public comments only to residents of Taney or Stone counties, or a representative of or employee of a business within city limits. The change was initiated in April after a February board meeting drew hours of testimony, including from several speakers residing in Springfield. Alderman Clay Cooper said during the April meeting that previously Branson's public comments were limited to those living only within city limits, but then changed to open it up to everyone. That is the end of that article.
Did anybody read this one yet?
Not yet. Did you not want to read the other articles?
Nah. No.
Okay.
From the Springfield Daily Citizen, real community banking, why wisdom beats banking knowledge. And this was sponsored.
Yep, sponsored.
Sponsored, like by.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Table Rock Community Bank. The article starts with two guys, Tyler Maggie on the left. He's Table Rock's Community Bank's chief leading officer, with Josh Sapp on the right, and he's Table Rock's Community Bank Springfield's market president. And this photo was provided by the Table Rock Community Bank. Okay, if banking were based solely on the profit and loss statement and the right ratios, did I say right?
You got it.
Okay, you could outsource it into, you could sort it to the cheapest algorithm with the nicest dashboard. Plug in the numbers, get a decision, move on. But that's not what most businesses owners are actually looking for. They're looking for bankers who can look at a request, see it for what it is, and actually care. The difference between banking knowledge and banking wisdom, and it's the thread running through a conversation between Tyler Maggie, Chief Leading Officer at Table Rock Community Bank, and Josh Sapp, who is stepping into the role of Springfield Market President. The handoff is in the headline, but the lesson is bigger. The conversation starts with an announcement of changing roles. Maggie, who has served as a Springfield Market President for a little over 2 years, is passing the reins to Sapp. At the same time, Maggie is moving to the Chief Leading Officer role. On paper, it's a staffing update. In real life, it's a signal that Table Rock Community Bank is growing, and growth brings decisions. Lots of them. And when you're talking about lending, decisions aren't talking about lending, decisions aren't just approvals and denials. They're outcomes that affect a community and people's lives. Here's the truth businesses need to hear, even if they don't want to. At one point, Maggie calls it out. Controlled growth is key. Controlled growth is the kind that keeps a business healthy and the way a business can scale that will last. Controlled growth gives the operator time to understand what's happening inside their business before you can stack more risk on top of it. That's not theory. That's when you learn you have 36 years of combined history working with business owners. Sapp talks about the value of a straight answer because it lets people understand how to move forward with their decision making. Here's another part that matters just as much. They're passionate about giving people an answer quickly. Maggie takes it one step further. Local decision making means you can pick up the phone and get an answer fast. sometimes within 45 minutes, with the goal of identifying what works best between the borrower and the bank. Borrow, not borrow.
Okay.
Often, it is this guidance that helps turn a loan request around to a better structure and healthier outcome. That's what business owners are really getting when they choose a community bank. Not just access to capital, but access to wisdom and local market experience. When a bank drags out decisions, the cost isn't just time, it's attention and anxiety. It's the mental overhead of constantly following up, constantly wondering, constantly managing the bank relationship instead of managing your business. That friction is expensive. Even if it never shows up as a line item, a good bank makes things feel smooth. A good banker is available. A good banker gives a straight answer. Probably the simplest litmus test of all. Do you dread walking into your bank? That's not how it's supposed to work. In their view, the relationship should make hard conversations easier, not harder. When the relationship is real, the conversation becomes practical. Here's what we want to do. Okay, here's what we can do. Here's what needs to change to make it work. That's not transactional. That's an advisor showing wisdom in action. Cash is a safety net and sometimes a weapon. A piece of advice Maggie and Sap talked through that most businesses push past quickly is the power of cash. Most operators want every dollar working, put it back into inventory. They put it into new equipment, marketing, and even new hires. They argue for something that can feel almost unproductive in the moment, sitting on some cash. Cash is what helps you survive
Economic
swings. And even in a stable region like the Ozarks, stable doesn't mean immune. Things can go sideways. Cash buys time, cash can buy options. And as Sap notes from his experience as an analyst during the 2008 era, cash can also buy opportunity. When markets tighten, the people with liquidity are often the ones positioned to pick up great opportunities. It's not just defense, it can be a solid offense. Near the end, Maggie jokes about watching him and Sap to make a fool of themselves. In the end, Maggie jokes about watching him and Sap make a fool of themselves. It's a light moment, but it's also a clue. They're not trying to sound like a bank brochure. They're trying to bring the community back into banking and having a good time doing it. The simplest definition of a real community banking that is a vibe is that it is a vibe, because the vibe is what business owners feel immediately, being known. The difference between waiting and getting an answer, the difference between a bank that's local in name and a bank that's local in practice. In the end, anyone can run the numbers. The real edge is knowing what the numbers mean in this community, in this moment, for your business. Check out Table Rock Community Bank if you're looking for a real community bank.
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kHz on 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. I'm Savannah.
And I'm Madison.
Thank you for listening.